We are going to be going over the newest Storm bowling products on the market. We have an Attention Star S2 and a brand new Road Warrior. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe, and a like is always appreciated. Now guys, we have some great products on the market. The Attention Star S2, we have the original Attention Star. Up here, we're gonna throw it. If you guys threw the original Attention Star, you knew it was a great ball. We recommended it to almost everyone. You could play it on any part of the lane. It's a pearlized cover with a strong core, so there's a good mix there. The second sequence of that ball, the Attention Star S2, is going to be much rollier, okay? So it's not a pearlized cover, it's a hybrid cover with a 2000 Avalon pad to it. So it comes duller than the original Attention Star, and it's going to be much rollier, okay? And it's not gonna be, I don't think it's gonna be as strong as the Gym and the Iron Max, as rolly as those balls are. They're just so strong. The hybrid cover in this, and only the 2000, you can change the surface on it if you want, but I think it's gonna be a step down. I think it's gonna be in that realm of still a pretty rolly bowling ball, pretty strong, but just not as strong as the strongest, okay? And then we have a Road Warrior. I think this is the first cover stock they've put on they've used it on a couple international balls, but the R2SD Pearl. Another line in the high road lineup. You know, I feel like a lot of people in the industry nowadays have at some point thrown a high road or some version of it. And this is the newest one, the Road Warrior. These balls are really unique. The high road series, they're high RG and high diff. You don't see that very often. The really, really strong balls are low RG, high diff. That's max basically. In terms of hook, differential is the flare, and the RG is when it's supposed to hook. So if it's low, it's supposed to hook early. This is high RG, which means it's supposed to get down the lane, but then it also has some differential, which means it's meant to flare, which means it's still supposed to hook. So it's meant to get down the lane, but then also still have some strength to hook. And it's gonna be much cleaner and a much weaker bowling ball than this Attention Star S2. And I'm gonna throw some shots. I'm gonna throw a bunch of shots. We're on a house shot. If you guys know much about this house shot, it hooks quite a bit. Being a lower rev rate guy myself, I generally like to play a little straighter on it, especially with a rolly ball like this. And then we're gonna throw the high road and just see the difference, or the Road Warrior, excuse me. And we're gonna see the difference. You're gonna see two very different bowling balls here. All right, so that's some shots with the Attention Star S2. Clearly pretty rolly, pretty early, and not a whole lot of change of directions down lane. That's what we see with these smooth bowling balls, the covers that are really smooth. Kind of just in front of you. There's not a whole lot of ton of shape being created. We are now gonna try the Attention Star. Cleaner ball. I actually don't feel as comfortable playing this straight. Generally the cleaner balls provide more skid. They do provide more skid, and then that bodes well with an open angle, allows you to get the ball out, hook it back. The more skid there is, the more hook there is in back part lane. So when you're playing straight, or a little straighter, it can be a little more uncomfortable, but let's see what the difference is. You see how quick that was when it started hooking? It wanted to go left, and then instead of it rolling out, I mean, we saw probably 6 or 7 shots with the S2. Like, it went high flush as well, but it rolled out enough to where it didn't 4-pin. It wasn't very angular. And so we can pretty much clearly see that there's more angle in this thing just because of the cleaner cover. Now we're gonna move a couple left, give it a little more shape. Hopefully by that shot you can kind of see that there just wasn't overall a ton of like strength and dig into the lane when it wants to hook. It's pretty clean. Get some angle on the back part of the lane. Okay, so Attention Star, definitely a little cleaner than the S2. The S2 gives me a little bit of the Eternity Pie feel, where it's like still a strong ball, it's still pretty early, but it just doesn't want to change directions a whole lot. It doesn't over lock up in the middle part of the lane when it tries to hook. It doesn't roll out too much. It's a really nice blend. And you can tell because a lot of the high shots that I threw with it, you know, they struck, you know, or they got really close to striking. So now we're gonna go all the way down, not all the way down, but pretty close to a Road Warrior. And to further talk about like the cleaner cover, playing a little straighter, like you want roll when you play straight. It helps you maintain control and smoothness, but when you get skid, then it's harder to manage the back part of the lane. So if I'm gonna be up the lane with this thing, I normally probably wouldn't, but we'll see. We'll see how much weaker it is, what it does in the back part of the lane, that kind of thing. And I throw it terrible. Disregard that one. All right, so just first couple thoughts with this Road Warrior. Sometimes when you get like a really weak ball that's really clean, you could really tell like it's over skidding and then it's like either never hooking or way over angular. I just got plenty of read in the mid lane with that. I mean, it was a little quicker to the spot. It had a little more skid to it, but it rolled up really nicely. It's the differential in these balls. You know, they still flare, so you can still throw them on like fresh. You can still get them to roll out a little bit. And all right, that was awesome. So that one was just overthrown by me, and full disclosure, those first 4 or 5 shots with the Attention Star S2, you know, one was okay, but the first couple were like left, and I needed to speed my feet up. So generally when I'm grabby and missing it to the right, it's because my feet are a little slow. So once I pick up the momentum of my feet, I can get the ball off my hand a little cleaner, and that one was just a little too fast. So we're gonna dial it back down. Ooh, there we go. Okay, so there's some angle, and you know, when I throw some cleaner balls, I really want to know, like, are they being like allergic to oil? Are they skidding way too much? Are they still reading the mid lane? Like, how weak is the ball? And so far what I'm getting, it's really not the weakest of the bunch, you know? I mean, that overhooked, you know, we're getting a little bit too much hook, too much angle, really. It's too much skid, too much flip. And when it skids to a hook point and it still has all the energy, then it's gonna do that. It's gonna overhook quite a bit. And I know it could seem kind of counterproductive to say weaker balls hook more, but that's what it is. It's just more skid and more angle in the back. So that's why we like to play a little bit of angle, especially with a ball that still has some flare in it. You know, you should be able to kind of open up a little bit. So we're gonna move left. Okay. So on that shot right there, the flat 10, I got that one a little bit more in. Might have been a pinch fast, but for me, I can visually see the ball not wanting to just like overhook in the middle part of the lane. There's plenty of push down the lane. You can kind of see it on how late it got behind the head pin on that one, which is great. You know, I mean, that's what we need. We need some strong balls that dig through it, and then we need some weaker balls that glide through it. And this is definitely one of those gliders, which is great because now I can be a little bit more aggressive. I don't have to worry about it overhooking. It's gonna give me some length. So on that one, I was able to get a little bit more aggressive. Might have been in it a little bit as well, and it still held line. You know, it didn't want to do anything crazy. If I was to be aggressive like that with the Attention Star S2, sometimes it might roll out, but it's such a more rollier ball that sometimes it won't even get to the break point. Be able to get to the pocket, it's already too far left. So really liking how much this one gets down the lane. Woo, buddy. I mean, we haven't seen this ball underhook yet. And to be honest with you, this is my 3rd time filming this video, so I've got some shots on these balls. And honestly, I've probably got 5 games on this S2, and you can't even tell. Like, the oil really hasn't taken over. It's like it still has plenty of surface. And then I've thrown this ball quite a bit, and like, sometimes, you know, you get the oil on the ball and it just starts fluttering. I haven't seen that yet. I mean, these things are really reading the mid lane well. It goes bad when the ball never reads. It's great when the ball actually reads because then you can play it. So this is great. All right, so now we're gonna throw this S2 kind of in the same spot. And I mean, you could tell how angular that ball is being. It's wanting to create angle, which is really good for a ball like that. And it's not under reading. So that's a double great thing. But now we're gonna try, see what this does. Wow, I can't believe that held line. But you can kind of tell how much more rolly that ball is. I didn't want to really change a lot of directions in the back part of the lane like we're getting with this Road Warrior. And the second that thing starts to not do that, the flush rollout strike, the second it starts rolling out a little too much or it starts hooking a little too much, then we just go right to this thing. And this thing is perfect. I mean, it hasn't underread yet. It underread. All right, so that actually just tells me that I'm a little too far left. All right, let's try it again. We're getting a little handsy. Let's throw a little better shot. There. Come on. Look at that angle. I mean, this thing is an angular beast. Look at this thing. I mean, it's so angular that every once in a while to get behind the head pin, this is cool. I'm actually just too far left. I am too far left for the amount of skid. So let's straighten her up a little bit, play friction. So you're basically seeing what happens to me in real life on this house shot is when I play a little straighter, I do fine. When I try and get left and open up some angle, I don't know how to throw it. All right, let's get one more good one with this bad boy. Let's end on a turkey. Hook a lot. Oh, I missed it. That had 0 revolutions on it. And it still got to the pocket. All right, guys, so I hope you guys liked that ball review video. 2 absolute gems from the Storm Bowling products added to the lineup. And to be honest with you, if I was to bowl league in this center, and if I was to probably bowl, I mean, it probably amounts to anywhere. You could bring this ball, you can bring the Attention Star, the original, and you can bring this ball, and you can probably be okay on any condition. You've got the ball that rolls out that's not overly too strong, so you can throw it on even some drier stuff. We saw my inside shot right there. And on some oil, and then we got a ball down from this that'll gap these two, the original Attention Star, and then you just go right down to this bad boy. And to be honest with you, there's not much you won't be able to attack with that 3-ball lineup. And you know, if you're a high rev rate, if you're bowling on wood lanes, if you're bowling on a ton of friction and like you just don't know how to get the ball down the lane, well then the Road Warrior's your guy. If you lower rev rate like me, you like to see the ball pick up a little bit, you like that early hook and roll out, and the Attention Star S2, but they complement each other really, really well. I think Storm did a great job with these 2 additions to the lineup. All right, guys, that's the video, and Storm, thank you for making the greatest products on the market. You're absolutely fantastic. If you guys like the video, hit that like and subscribe, and we appreciate you. We love you. We'll see you.